as to the African Union are transmitted by the embassies. So it would be prudent for us to set a time frame where this charter can be submitted to the foreign affairs ministries of our member states, so that they are transmitted to the embassies for scrutiny and then be ready for submission to the heads of states.
Thank you, thank you, Honorable. And I believe COSPAL will also do that. Yeah. Thank you very much. My brother, Honorable, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much. Liberia will be hosting a COSPA this year, and so it is expected that after the conference, the COSPA meeting or assembly, all documentations and all the works will be completed so that for formal submission to the African Union Summit in February. So I just want to make that contribution.
Thank you very much. Well noted, Liberia. With that said, Eswatini? No, thank you. With that said, I think that brings us to the end of our recommendations from our Right Honorable Speaker. Please, let me allow you. I think we need your voice.
Well,
let's take the last one.
I know you are parliamentarians, so I can see that this is driven very much by parliamentarians. But the thing is, in governance in Africa, the executive is very strong. So I can see caucus of parliamentarian, COSPA. All this is parliamentary driven. Question, where is the executive coming from? Because they have the press. They can stop you. So I think that the recommendations kind of leaves out a huge chunk of those who drive power in Africa, the executive and even the judiciary, because they will interpret the law. So I'm just praying that we'll find a way of balancing the three arms of government and their influence in institutionalizing what we want to do. Thank you.
Thank you. It is well noted. May I add that every minister is a parliamentarian before they are ministers? Is that correct with all our jurisdictions? So I'd like to assume that they are part of parliament. I think we would need to manage that. We note that very much. Not every country. Oh, my apology. Thank you. Please allow me to bring this to a close. And then just say that I do want to speak to the soul of the African to say, Africa, this is our moment. Like the Honorable Speaker said, we will be judged by what we have done for the next generation. We keep talking of founding leaders who have done this and that. Let us not be seen to be the Africans that sell our continent, that sell our families, that sell our sovereignty and our values. Whatever has been lost, we can still regain it back if we consciously make that effort. Honorable delegates, let's stand together and be decisive and determined to courageously take the outcomes of this conference back home, to engage our communities and to protect our sovereignty. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the good work done. I think, and the Right Honorable Speaker of Ghana's Parliament. We are moving straight. Because of time constraint, I want to invite Honorable Peter back. Now I'm told that the technical team are ready. And please, let's work fast so that we can get this charter out. And then we can have our civil society organizations. And then we'll take our communique that will be sent to the president, the speakers, and the presiding members. Yeah. Please, we've come to a very important part, and this is limited to only delegates. If your tie is not red, the moderator will not call you. It is basically for members of parliament and delegates who have been invited to look at it. If you have any issues, you can talk to a delegate to bring up. This is more of a parliamentary activity. Thank you.
Yeah, we go to the most important part. We move on the premise, honorable delegates, that as of the third conference in Entebbe, what we had in terms of the draft charter has been agreed upon. Following yesterday, a number of state parties and delegates proposed amendments. In terms of the manner we normally proceed, I was seeking confirmation whether the amendments proposed by the various delegates have been circulated. I'm being informed that the amendments are on the computer systems before us. Would I have that confirmation from the delegates that we all have them? Will as many as those delegates who have the amendments in their computer system say aye? Yeah, so we appear to have them. Now, in terms of the amendments and going by parliamentary procedure, we will allow each state proposing amendments to move the amendments, and those amendments will then be put to question. Preferably, this is a session strictly for delegates to make a decision. So there have been amendments proposed by Burkina Faso, Morocco, Ghana, and then Kenya. Decision by the delegates. And as Burkina Faso comes, they will be followed by Morocco, before us. So who is moving the amendments on behalf of Burkina Faso, the land of upright of Burkina Faso is proposing? Proceed.
D'accord. Merci beaucoup pour la parole. Effectivement, le Burkina Faso a formulé un certain nombre d'amendements qui concernent les articles 1, les articles 4, alinéa 5, article 6.f. Donc, pour le premier amendement qui concerne l'article 1, il concerne la définition de la famille. Le Burkina Faso propose d'ajouter dans la définition de la famille, pour prendre en compte la polygamie, la possibilité du mariage entre un homme et une femme ou plusieurs femmes.
A point of order. We are requesting that you indicate your name and your delegation, then you move the amendment for purposes of records.
D'accord.
Sorry for taking you back.
Merci beaucoup. Je suis le député Aboubakar Kabré, donc membre de l'Assemblée législative du peuple du Burkina Faso. Donc pour le premier amendement, comme je le disais, il consiste à, dans la définition de la famille, insérer l'expression une ou plusieurs femmes. Donc le mariage serait entre un homme et une ou plusieurs femmes. C'est le premier amendement. Le même amendement est répété au niveau de l'article 4, alinéa 5. Ou encore le mariage est entendu comme l'union d'un homme et d'une ou plusieurs femmes. En ce qui concerne l'article 6, le point F,
Do we have any considerations, or I put the question? Yes, the Speaker of the Senate of Eswatini.
I agree with Burkina Faso.
Yes.
Thank you.
The Speaker Eswatini agrees with Burkina Faso. Indicate who you are, make a comment, then we put the question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Hassan Tampuli, Member of Parliament here in Ghana. I want to depart a little from the definition here, and I rather propose that marriage should be defined as founded on marriage between a man and a woman. Simpliciter. Or if you are marrying, as a man, if you are marrying another woman, it is still a woman. So you don't need to say one or many or one or more women. I think it's just a man and a woman, simpliciter. And I beg to move. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, the member has spoken in opposition. Do I now put the question? The Honorable Sarah Opendi. The Speaker Eswatini will take precedence.
Thank you. I have a question with what my brother has just said. I think what we are talking about is African values, cognizant of how our communities are structured. So it has to be so explained so that, you know, it's not like in another setting. That's why I said I agree with Burkina Faso. So there's no ambiguity. Thank you.
The Honorable Sarah Opendi.
Thank you. I think in the spirit of One Africa, sometimes the interpretation is what matters. When you read the statement as it is, a man and a woman, those who are okay with polygamy look at it as you are restricting one man and one woman. So there is no harm in going with the Burkina definition for the sake of harmony and moving forward. Or else the other option is to interpret it in the interpretation clause. But I see no harm in having this. Polygamy is African anyway, so I don't see any problem with that.
Honorable members, I now move to put the question that the amendments to the draft charter by Burkina Faso be carried for incorporation in the charter. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. The ayes have it. So that amendment proposal will be taken up by the Secretariat and forwarded to the institution under the communication to be refined for incorporation in line with our determination.
Chair.
Yes, that is Deputy Speaker Malawi.
Yeah, Chair, I'm thinking we are adopting the amendments as they have been written here, but our technical drafters, we will draft them to suit the drafting language. Not that the is, I, and X's will always be here. Parliamentary business requires us to adopt what we have. Our drafters will finalize the actual document. So in that spirit, Chairperson, we'll move a little quicker than looking at the nitty-gritties of what is contained in a statement or trying to define, because we are not doing a work to define anything here. We all know what we're looking is to protect our values. Thank you, Chairperson.
Deputy Speaker Malawi, your guidance is indeed a guidance I ought to have given before, and it is carried forward, hoping it has been heard by all the members. We are approving the proposals in terms of content, but they are going to the technical team to refine, and I believe it will then be, circulated to the members again in terms of how the amendments put together and considered together during technical drafting would have, affected the ultimate charter before, final adoption and ratification by individual states. The country of Morocco, to move the amendments and highlight it to the delegates for consideration.
Merci. Je passe directement à l'article 4, le point 7 sur l'avortement. Protéger les enfants de tout préjudice, y compris de l'avortement, avant comme après la naissance. Le problème, c'est que le Maroc autorise l'avortement thérapeutique en cas de danger pour la mère de viol ou d'inceste. Cette disposition est conforme au droit international des droits de l'homme. Donc nous proposons un amendement comme suit. Protéger la vie de l'enfant avant et après la naissance, conformément à la Convention des Nations Unies relative aux droits de l'enfant qui affirme que toute personne a droit à la vie, tout en reconnaissant que chaque État partie détermine dans le respect de sa souveraineté législative, de ses engagements internationaux, les conditions dans lesquelles la vie de la mère peut être protégée, notamment en cas d'arrêt vital avéré pour sa santé physique ou mentale, conformément aux standards reconnus. Merci.
Is Morocco done with highlighting the proposed amendments? Yes. The amendments by Morocco having been moved, I invite comments from the delegates, if any. There being no comment, I want to therefore proceed and move that the amendment proposals by the Morocco delegation be remitted to the Secretariat. The Honorable Speaker of the Senate, Eswatini.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. I'm looking through Morocco's recommendation, and I agree with several points, 1, 2, and 3. I'm just asking myself about point 7, what do we say? I think they've said that in their constitution, they permit abortion in certain instances. So is our Secretariat going to match that, and how is that going to be done? I'm just trying to understand. Are we taking it as it is with everything, or there's going to be a...
Yeah, Morocco...
Are we not opening it to anything for the rest of Africa, or I know it's probably just Morocco and other countries? Thank you.
Yeah, the leader of delegation from Morocco, who is also the deputy speaker of the parliament in Morocco, to clarify that. In addition, maybe for the benefit of the members, how do you abort after birth? So, some delegates, including myself, believe abortion can only be termination of life before birth. So could you explain that in addition to the issue being raised?
Oui. Non, pour nous, j'ai dit que le Maroc autorise l'avortement thérapeutique, médical. Et ça, c'est dans le code pénal du Royaume. En cas de danger pour la mère, de viol ou d'inceste. Cette disposition est déjà conforme au droit international des droits de l'homme. Elle est contenue dans le droit international. Ce n'est pas quelque chose qui... Au contraire, on doit s'aligner sur le droit international.
You made your point, Deputy Speaker Morocco. The delegate representing the East African Legislative Assembly is recognized to comment.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to comment the amendment by Morocco, especially on 7A, that each state party determines in respect of its legislative sovereignty. Because despite the international frameworks or the protocols that we come up with, our laws of the land remained overruled. And that's why in Uganda, the Maputo Protocol was signed with reservation to Article 14, because our Constitution, Article 21, does not recognize abortion. So this amendment specifically works for our context here, because different constitutions have different instruments. I beg to move.
The delegate seated next to the
Morocco?
delegate from the East African Legislative Assembly, the Honorable Delegate.
Yeah, I think we should try as much as possible to avoid allowing anything that has to do with abortion in the document, because abortion generally is outlawed in many African countries. In Nigeria, abortion is not allowed, it's illegal, simplicity. And there is no provision, there is no exception to abortion. So whether you call it therapeutic abortion, that word should not enter the document at all. Absolutely removed. No, we don't want it to enter the document, please.
The Honorable, the Deputy Speaker from the country of Malawi is recognized to make his comments.
Thank you very much, Chair. If you understand the proposal by Morocco, I understand it better, because even our Malawi Constitution does not allow abortion. But the penal code in Malawi does allow, in situations where the life of a mother is in danger. So there are conditions in the penal code. When the life of a mother is in danger, issues of incest, it is allowed. But it can only be done in those scenarios. It's not allowed by the Constitution. So the Constitution does not allow it. So that's where our drafters need also to compare our pieces of legislations or Constitution in a lot of African countries as a reference point and our penal codes. So in Malawi, you do abortion, you are jailed. They take you to court. It's not allowed. But the penal code allows when a mother is dying for conceiving, that situation is allowed to save the life of the mother. So that is allowed in that scenario. Not everyone can procure abortion. No, it's not allowed.
Please, let me just respond
because
to
of time, I will
let me just respond to that. Let me just respond by saying that
because
when the mother life, when even the mother life is in danger.
I've not recognized you.
Okay. No, it's good
members.
to explain what
Order,
it's about.
Honorable Delegate, you are not yet recognized.
Okay. I will explain later.
Let me preside over the conversation because of paucity of time. The gentleman to my right is recognized to make his comments. Then I think I will put the question on whether we can remit the amendment by the Morocco team to working together with the technical team, see how it can be reworked and considered if it is to be incorporated into the charter. Gentlemen.
Thank you. I'm from Ghana, and I support the amendment from Morocco. In Ghana, abortion is also generally illegal. It's criminal, but there are exceptions. When the life of the mother is at risk, in the case of rape, in the case of incest, our law permits it. And if we generally criminalize that, I'm a practicing gynecologist and I'm an obstetrician of several years standing. And it will mean that even doctors cannot save the life of a mother when the mother is about to die. So it is generally criminal, but under those circumstances, we should be able to permit it. So I support the amendment. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I
we have honorable member.
Yes, I want to make a correction to say that.
Let us have that honorable lady, the delegate in the beautiful African blue headscarf.
Merci bien pour la parole. Je suis la camarade députée Esther Bamouni Kansono. Je viens du Burkina Faso. Et je suis d'avis avec le Maroc parce qu'au Burkina Faso, l'avortement est strictement interdit. Mais dans les cas de figure qu'il a cités, l'avortement est permis dans la légalité. Il y a des voies à suivre. Il faut qu'un juge constate et il donne son avis et ensuite on voit un médecin et cela doit être fait dans les 14 semaines qui suivent. Et après les 14 semaines, ce n'est pas autorisé. Merci bien, c'est ce que j'avais à dire.
Yes, honorable members, so that we make progress, being alive to time, allow me to put question for the consideration of the matter raised by Morocco on the issue of adoption to be remitted to the Secretariat's technical team to, in consultation in Morocco and consulting all the constitutions and legal instruments of the African states, come up with a harmonious position, because I note this is mainly, the confusion is mainly arising from the use of therapeutic. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes definitely have it. Yeah, remember we have remitted it so that we can have the Secretariat's technical team come with a harmonized position, because listening to all of us, our constitutions appear to prohibit, but also allow some exceptions. And I hear you to be speaking also to the language of the Kenyan constitution. Those are the things we need to have the technical team clarify, harmonize, reconcile, and then improve on the text in a manner that will be acceptable to the delegates at adoption. Honorable Sarah Opendi, the matter of Morocco.
Yeah, the matter of Morocco, I just wanted to give clarity that when you read this document, it's clearly stated that African states retain sovereignty over their health policies, including on abortion matters, as per the UN member state consensus. So this covers what we are actually debating here.
Yes.
It's already in the document.
Yes, so Honorable
Thank you.
Opendi, that is why the document has been remitted to the technical team. Remember, it is possible that other nations, including Kenya, could also be proposing amendments on the matter of adoption. That is why we are sending them to the technical team to come up with a position which can then be agreeable to all of us, if not to the majority of us. The host country of Ghana is now recognized to move before the delegates the amendments. I see honorable delegates, including the Speaker of the country of Burundi, seeking recognition. Honorable Deputy Speaker, I hope it is not on the amendment moved by Morocco, because that is pent and is no longer before us.
Justement, c'est avec la proposition du Maroc, parce que moi, je trouve que le point 7 sur lequel le Maroc a apporté une modification était bel et bien rédigé, parce que concernant sa proposition, disons que quand une mère est menacée ou son enfant, qu'il faut que la Constitution accepte l'avortement, mais c'est bien écrit, il faut déterminer la meilleure façon de protéger la mère et son enfant en cas d'urgence liée à une grossesse potentiellement mortelle. Beaucoup de constitutions dans nos pays n'acceptent pas l'avortement. Je pense qu'il faut laisser tel que c'est écrit, parce que si on voit que c'est dans l'intérêt de sauver la mère ou l'enfant, c'est bien écrit, il faudra déterminer la meilleure façon. Ça dépend de tout pays, de la constitution des pays. Il ne faut pas autoriser, il ne faut pas légaliser l'avortement. C'est ce que je pense. Merci.
Yeah, the Deputy Speaker, Burundi, we speak the same language. That matter is referred to the technical committee, which will look at it together with other proposed amendments in consultation with Morocco to find accommodation between the drafts and to come up with an acceptable text on the matter of adoption, which is an issue core to this conference. I had recognized the country of Ghana to move.
Thank you, Honorable Moderator. I move that this House will adopt a new proposal that we brought on board, which has to do with the sovereignty over digital infrastructure. We were here yesterday when our colleague brought in and explained to us. And so I move that we will adopt chapter 9, that sovereignty over digital infrastructure, data, and artificial intelligence. Mr. Speaker, I move on behalf of Ghana delegates. My name is Honorable Emmanuel Kwesi Bejra, and I hope this House will adopt it. Thank you.
Yeah, Ghana has moved the amendment proposals. Do you have any comments from the honorable delegates?
Il faut qu'on nous retourne à la version française, s'il vous plaît.
Somebody is on the microphone without being recognized. Do you have any comments in support, opposition, or perspective on the amendment proposal by Ghana? Yes, the delegate from Uganda.
I want to thank Ghana. My name is Elijah Yokupa from Uganda. I want to thank him for having brought up, because that was one of the issues we discussed yesterday, which we found was missing. So I think it's very pertinent that it's included in one of the sections or articles in the charter to capture that, because there's a threat that's coming out of the sort of digital transformation that's going on, especially AI and others. Because we have seen other countries have even banned their young ones below the age of 16. You see Denmark, Australia, they have done it, but surprisingly in Africa, no country has yet moved that way. So it's very important that we include this in the charter. So I strongly support that move.
Honorable delegates, the Honorable Sam George made some very informative and passionate presentations on how we can gain our sovereignty and control over the digital space yesterday. Ghana is making this amendment proposal to enrich the draft charter with the matters digital space, which were not, well taken into account and previously not well incorporated. I want to therefore move the question that the proposed amendments be remitted to the technical team, which in consultation with Ghana, in the best interest of the delegates and guided by our main target in this space, following the informative discussions we've had before, be remitted to the technical team for decision and for refinement and incorporation into the charter before adoption. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye?
No,
is the delegate representing the East African Legislative Assembly seeking to speak to this? You are recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to add something on 4 on African digital governance and cooperation. We are more emphasizing, even yesterday when Sam George was presenting, he was emphasizing on data protection laws and especially AI regulation. But we have more emerging technologies other than AI. So I would love to see in the text, instead of just restricting it to AI, we should also restrict it to other emerging technologies, including AI.
Yes.
Because as we address AI, another aspect will come in. Yes.
Yes, so the delegate representing East Africa Legislative Assembly is proposing expansion in terms of definition and what is included in that space. And I think that is rightly so. That is why we are remitting it to the technical team, which will, beyond the delegates, also consult Sam George and other persons knowledgeable in the area to come with a provision text which is acceptable in terms of content and form to the delegates for adoption. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Yeah, so we have the last one. The last one is Kenya. That is why I've called you back, because I want to move the amendment proposals by Kenya.
So whilst we wait for our colleague from the Kenya to move his amendment, yes, I want to recognize, yes, please, and then from the Burkina Faso.
I just thought about, sorry to take us backwards a little bit. It's very, very important because in the definition of marriage, marriage is between a man and a woman. There's nothing like marriage between a man and women. That is, it's a misnomer. Polygamy is implied in marriage between a man and a woman. Polygamy is implied there. So you don't say a marriage between a man and woman. It's a misnomer. You check your...
Thank you very much. So
the technical team...
We'll look at the test. Our technical team will look at the test, to be in consonant with our international laws. Thank you, Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso. Please go ahead, Burkina Faso.
It's Kenya.